Hey there everyone, welcome back to the Hearthstone Southeast Asia Legends number 9. This is the quarterfinals between Staz and Apocrypha. Looks like this is going to be a fairly fast game here as both players are playing Warlock here. So Staz having the most amount of cards out on the field right now. Also has a Voidwalker and a Sea Giant, but can't play it just yet as he is lacking a little bit in minions right now. So let's take a quick look at what happened on the board so far. Imp Gang Boss and on the field, Iron Beak Owl silencing it, so no additional imps would be summoned. So strongest minion could be taken down by Apocrypha, but Staz can now play that Sea Giant if he so chooses after playing the Voidwalker. So I'm kind of wondering how Staz is going to play this one. I was probably going to sacrifice an owl and one spider and use the other spider to get rid of the Imp Gang boss. And then Apocrypha is dropped to a mere 23 hit points. Now Doomguard is pretty much the only card that Apocrypha can play right now, unless Apocrypha actually wants to tap right now. But 2 cards discarded. That's going to be Direwolf Alpha and a Power Overwhelming removed from the field. Now back to Staz, who has his own double Direwolf Alpha at this point. And if I were Staz, I would probably ignore that Doomguard, but I guess he can afford taking the damage. But of course, if Apocrypha does pull anything like a Dark Bomb right now, and that Sea Giant is not gonna live long, or something like an Implosion. Now 2 to 4 damage. It is gonna be the 4 damage, and 4 imps will spawn. The Direwolf Alpha is gonna buff 2 of those up to a 2/1 minion. And now Staz with his own Doomguard is first gonna play it, I would assume. So let's take a quick look at the damage that he can do. So he's sitting at 8 damage right now with Doomguard. That's added to 13.
So many possibilities.
And so many possibilities indeed. Or one thing that Staz could do is he could just attack with the Direwolves as well, and then plays Doomguard in between after he gets the Sergeant pass, but plays it a little bit differently. One imp gonna fall, and Apocrypha now with nothing, just an Argent Squire, has to tap, and it gets an Arcane Golem for his trouble, so Argent Squire is gonna be dropped.
The light protects me.
And I'm not too sure if he's actually gonna drop that Arcane Golem, but is not gonna do it just yet. Another Implosion being pulled here, Knife Choker as well, and that is a good combo, but sadly it does cost 6 mana instead of the 5 that Staz is sitting on right now. So Staz more than likely to just charge into Apocrypha at this point, as he's only sitting at 9 right now. Apocrypha, Defender of Argus, will prove to be very helpful at this point if he does decide to drop it. Has enough mana to drop both the Golem and the Defender, and that is going to set up quite well defensively, but Staz does have an out for that one in the form of the Implosion. Kind of depends what he is going to hit. So personally, I would probably try and hit the Golem, but now that it has 1 health, I would more than likely try and hit something else. But Imp Gang Boss now being dropped here, or summoned by, pulled by Staz, excuse me. Implosion is gonna land onto the Arcane Golem, the most damaging threat here. It's gonna be removed as well, and another Imp Gang Boss joins the field. Apocrypha now with a Sea Giant. Can't play it, but there is no way for... Actually, he can survive, but now that he has tapped, it's kind of a death sentence for him at this point, but that Abusive Sergeant might prove a little bit of respite. Plays the Sea Giant, and that Defender of Argus has to take care of the Doomguard. So now just sitting with 5 damage on the board, and a Rubian Egg and a Power Overwhelming. So that is the top deck that Staz needed so badly. Well played comes out, and Staz will win the first game of this best of 5. So congratulations to Staz winning the first game in this best of 5. So remember, this is Conquest, so both players can switch it up freely here after a win and loss. So we're gonna set up game 2 for you as fast as possible. In the meantime, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game 2 between Staz and Apocrypha.
Malfurion versus Gul'dan.
Your soul shall be mine!
Hey there everyone, welcome back to game 2 between Staz and Apocrypha. Staz playing Druid, Apocrypha now playing Warlock. So let's see how this one is going to turn out. Staz with already a good opening card, the Wild Growth, in his hand right now. So I'm kind of wondering how he is going to swap out the cards. Here, I can't really see the cards in Apocrypha's hand just yet. It's gonna swap out just the one card and gets an Emperor Coruscant for his troubles. Let's see if I can see Apocrypha's hand. Okay, I'm just gonna reload this really quick. Sometimes Spectator mode does act a little bit buggy, unfortunately, but fortunately nothing a couple of respecs can't fix. So apologies about that. Looks like spectator mode is not working that well for me right now, so we can only see the perspective from one player. So just to keep the scores proper, we're going to set it up the same as the previous time. So Staz on the bottom with a 1-0 lead, Apocrypha 1 game behind now playing Warlock. So Swipe and the Shapeshift will take care of that Direwolf Alpha. We're already sitting at 5 mana here, and Emperor Coruscant was already suspended by Staz. I would assume another Imp Gang boss and a Void Walker being dropped by Apocrypha. Now Staz drawing into Sylvanas Windrunner, but I have a feeling that he's just either gonna play the Druid, but is gonna play the Sylvanas instead, just to bring out pressure. Not too sure why he would do that instead of playing the Druid. Implosion now being dropped here for 2 damage to 2 imps, plus an abusive sergeant, and I guess that Apocrypha is gonna go on the offensive here, not hitting that Sylvanas at all. No Wrath for Staz, so actually it did top deck into the Wrath so he can take care of that Void Walker if he so chooses, but then he has like a pretty okay board to get over as well. Like the Imp Gang boss is going to be a little bit of trouble because it will keep spawning imps, and Staz is sitting at 16 health, but if he can manage to stay in there, set up defense, then he should be fine because he does have that Ancient of Lore in his hand, which will be able to heal him up. Wrath is going to be used to draw a card, which is the Keeper of the Grove. It can be useful for now, but is going to be useful later on if Apocrypha does decide to bring out something big. I'm not too sure if he's playing because I can't see his hand right now. Again, apologies for the spectator mode issues here. So, Apocrypha, I think that might be a power overwhelming in his hand, and it was. Power overwhelming is gonna. Not too sure what that card is there, but that little imp is surely to attack into that Druid of the Claw, unless Apocrypha has a silence, which I would have think a little bit differently, but is gonna play the Abusive Sergeant, buffing up that imp, so that one is gonna fall down, and Staz just gonna go on the offensive, excuse me, Staz feeling the offensive of Apocrypha. Sorry for fumbling there. But now Staz with a Force of Nature can clear out the board fairly decently. So one thing that Staz can maybe do is a little bit interesting. So use the Force of Nature to attack into the small imp and then the Abusive Sergeant, and use the last imp to trigger the Nerubian Egg, and then use Sylvana's Windrunner to attack into the Imp Gang boss, and then there's a 50% chance that you actually steal the 4/4 Nerubian, and it would wipe out the board. So again, as I mentioned, Staz in an okay spot right now because he does have the Ancient of Lore. So I'm actually wondering if Staz is gonna play the Force of Nature like that. So is played out Treant will fall for Nerubian spawning, and it looks like he is not going to do that one. He's going to let the Imp Gang boss survive to be taken over. So Staz going for the safe play, didn't want to take the risk. Shapeshifts to do the 1 damage as well, and now Apocrypha is a little bit on the back here because he only has the 1 card, has to tap to keep going here. And of course, giving a Druid something like an Imp Gang boss is not too smart as well, because if they pull that Savage Roar, then that's going to do a whole bunch of damage. Ancient of Lore coming in, wondering if he's going to heal or draw cards. Is going to draw cards here, feels like he is in an okay spot to do so. Is generating a little bit of armor here and there, so is sitting at 15 health right now. Apocrypha now sitting at 18, has to draw into something here if he wants to keep going. Sea Giant now being dropped for 8 mana, and I think that is just going to be it. Harrison Jones now the card pulled for Staz, and Staz is going to use that wrap to do 3 damage onto that Sea Giant, and then attack with his Ancient of Lore, and 2 more damage landing. Pilot Shredder dropping as well, and is he actually going to drop the Keeper of the Grove, or is he going to play it safe? It's going to use the Keeper, land 2 damage on the Apocrypha. It's going to go on the offensive. I would have maybe saved up that Keeper just to get the silence off on something. Maybe use the Wild Growth instead, but it looks like Apocrypha is gonna go for an Arcane Golem play. 1 damage landing into the Keeper. Defender of Argus now dropping as well. Another 1 dagger landing into the Keeper. Now Swipe is live though. Won't take out too much, unfortunately, for Staz. So let's take a quick look at Staz can play this one out to the best of his abilities. So Night Juggler going down and is going to go for the Savage Roar play here, taking the 2 damage with his Druid right now, shielding up, attacking into the Arcane Golem. Well played comes out. Staz having lethal here, goes for the kill with 6, with 4, and with another 4, and will make it 2-0 in this best of 5 series. So congratulations to Staz, only one game away from making it to the semi-finals. Hopefully we can get those spec bugs ironed out for the next game. We'll be right back with game 3 between Staz and Apocrypha.
Versus Malfurion!
I must protect the one. Victory or death!
Hello there everyone, welcome back. This is game 3 between Staz and Apocrypha, so let's get this one going. Here, seems like there are still a little bit of spectator bugs here, so I'm probably going to have to restart Hearthstone later on. But Warrior versus Druid, let's see how this is going to turn out for the both of them. Staz only needing one more win to move to the semi-finals. Apocrypha needing to win 3 games in a row to make it, so it's quite the hard task for him, but he put his faith in Druid for this game. Staz just gonna armor up here, so it is gonna be a little bit of an endurance game, I feel. Staz having some good cards in his hand, not great cards, but Druid of the Claw gonna be dropped early by Apocrypha. And does he have anything to take care of that instantly? Doesn't really have anything right now. Even the Shield Slam would not help unless he plans on executing for the follow-up. But it's going to go for a Fiery War Axe instead, saving the execute for something bigger later on, as Druid does tend to play those sort of higher value cards like the Ancient of Lore, the Ancient of War, and so on. So Shade of Noxramas now being dropped by Apocrypha, and I'm kind of wondering when he is going to reveal that Shade, as a lot of players do reveal that Shade fairly early on. Harrison Jones being dropped by Staz, as he might as well, because Apocrypha more than likely to not play any weapons. So now back to Apocrypha, who's sitting on a 33 Shade of Noxramas, and looks like he has something to take care of that Harrison Jones in his hand. Again, apologies that I cannot spectate Apocrypha's hand. There is a small bug with the spectator. Client Swipe is the answer for Apocrypha, so some damage landing on to Staz. Is gonna do the 1 damage as well. Not revealing the Shade just yet. Wants to make it bigger and bigger. Let's see what Staz is going to go for the Dr. Boom play. 7 mana and a point fairly late in the game, but still having a lot of pressure out on the board does help out a lot. Apocrypha wrapping Dr. Boom's Boombot, and the damage will land onto that Shade of Noxramas, but of course cannot be attacked or targeted until it deals damage. Big Game Hunter sending out that Dr. Boom, and now Staz is left without a board. And all of a sudden only has a little Boombot to help him out, but then again, he does have that Zombie Chow he can attack to regain some extra health. Sludge Belcher as well to help him out if needed, and he has a Big Game Hunter as well if that Shade of Noxramas turns out to be a little bit too big. Armor Smith and the Sludge Belcher now being dropped, so that's sure to generate a little bit of armor for Staz there, unless the Armor Smith gets taken care of fairly early on. Apocrypha taking his time with 9 mana. It is pretty much an endurance game at this point, unless Apocrypha does have a major combo in his hand, like the Savage Roar Druid, Savage Roar Force of Nature combo that Druids are so known for, of course.
What to do?
Apocrypha taking his time here. I'm kind of speculating on what he still might have in his hand, because he hasn't used any Ancients yet, so Ancient of Lore still a possibility. One swipe was expended as well. Cenarius! Didn't expect that play just yet, but finally does reveal the shade of Noxramas and a little taunter as well. Armorsmith is going to generate some extra armor, and Staz now has to doesn't have to shoot down the shade with the big game hunter. He can just save it for something later. One thing that Staz can do is equip the Death Spite, attack into the Zombie Chow, get some extra health back, which wouldn't be a bad thing, of course. Then sacrifice the Armorsmith to take care of, or actually sacrifice the Armorsmith to Cenarius, and then execute, but still the 7 damage shade would still be standing. And it will grow stronger still, so I feel that Staz has to either snipe it down or sacrifice his Armorsmith to get rid of that shade, because Apocrypha is on the offensive here, has that Cenarius out on the field, has a pretty strong Zombie Chow there. Staz can regain a little bit of health by attacking into it. It's going to bump him up to 25, plus 5 armor from the shield block is going to bump him back up to 30. Another Death Spite being equipped, and it looks like that is going to be the play for Staz. And he could have played it a little bit differently, I guess, but Apocrypha is now at that state where he is just dropping a lot of high value cards out on the field over and over and over again, and no real way for Staz to properly get rid of that one. And now even the card costs in Apocrypha's hand being reduced by 1. Is there any way that Staz can get rid of it? Yes, he can, attacking into the Emperor and then executing the Cenarius, leaving the field completely empty except for the Shield Maiden, which he has just dropped. And Staz, resilient here, does not want to give up anytime soon. And Pilot Shredder now being dropped by Apocrypha, so that might reveal that he doesn't have too much in hand right here. Now Staz, equipping that Death Spite, is going to go on the offensive, is making sure that Apocrypha does not gain any minions out on the field. Whirling Zap-O-Matic being dropped, but he has to take care of that one as too, because
I have no time.
Savage Roar, Whirling Zap-O-Matic doing a whole bunch, and now Staz is starting to pick up momentum here. Let's take a look at the cards. 15 cards in both players' decks, and it's going to be 14 for Apocrypha now that he has used that excess mana card. And sitting at 8 mana, he has still a couple of cards that have been reduced, and I think that's pretty much all the cards in his hand except for the one he has just drawn. So Apocrypha taking his time. Dr. Boom gonna be dropped by Staz. Innervate gonna be dropped as well for 3 mana. Keeper of the Grove silencing, or not silencing, getting rid of that Shield Maiden. So now it's actually something very interesting. So Staz can actually attack into the Keeper, and that will trigger both bots, and if they will both land into Sylvanas, which they do, then Staz gains a massive minion there in the form of Dr. Boom here. And Staz going on the offensive here with Alexstrasza burning down Apocrypha to a mere 20 health. And Apocrypha needs to bring out his Ancients if he has them anytime soon, but he doesn't. He's just dropping the Shade and his shapeshifting, so he doesn't have his combo just yet. 21 damage is needed to take care of Apocrypha. Right now, Acolyte of Pain now being dropped here. 8 damage landing, another 7. Baron Geddon being dropped as well. Very risky here by Staz. But everything on the field is going to be burnt for 2 damage. Shade of Noxramas falling as well. So now, Apocrypha, what do you have in hand? What is remaining? Do you have a magic combo that can save you? I'm not too sure, but Apocrypha, with that Keeper of the Grove, might have just made a huge misplay there earlier on, because Staz just took away that Dr. Boom completely free and without risk with that beautiful Sylvanas Windrunner play with the Death Bite. And now Apocrypha is grasping for straws. Is there any way to survive this? But Apocrypha conceding, and that's going to be a 3-0 victory for Staz. So congratulations to Staz.